What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're taking a look at the total altcoin market cap, and we're going to peek over there at the Ripple XRP price chart. Yesterday, we did end up seeing a little bit of a dip come out of there of Bitcoin. It did take a lot of the market down with it. We're seeing a nice recovery happen this morning. We've seen EOS completely bounce out of there. It seems like it was kind of a capitulation moment for a lot of these assets. So I'll be keeping my eye, of course, over here on EOS to see what it does. Ethereum Classic also has my interest peaked because it's very similarly set up to EOS over there. And it's also setting up very similar to what Dogecoin was setting up like before it made its bigger move to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on this throughout the next few days. Ethereum Classic, if it kind of pops up into this range and then still continues to consolidate, that's kind of what I expect out of EOS, as well as further consolidation as well. But a nice sign to see this. This could be a signal of what's coming next for a lot of these altcoins, and that's a positive sign for a next leg up, which of course is what a lot of us are cheering for over here in the altcoin market, as we are now crossing above the 2.618 Fibonacci extension of the 2018-2017 bull run. Had lots of knockbacks take place right at these fib levels. We could see them happening over and over again. Was yesterday sort of just a back test of that breakout that happened, and well, does it have to make a C leg back down there a little bit more? Kind of have to see. That might be why there's further consolidation that I'm seeing in several assets. As for the XRP price chart, taking another dip again, like we've been talking about over the last week, just unable to close a candle above that 702 Fibonacci retracement level. I'll get us lined up right there. It went right up to it. It even wicked up above it, but could not close above that price level. Still further consolidation taking place. If you remember correctly, during this last retracement or this last crash, retrace, reaccumulation we had, it was the same story. It was getting back. It was having our crash, our retrace back up into here, then further accumulation. Even on an even smaller time frame, we can see that happening right in here. I'll take all of this off. We could see a crash, retrace, reaccumulation. See the retrace taking us back to the 702, followed by more reaccumulation, and then the breakout. So as we're in the time period that we're in right now, nothing is unusual happening in here, just reaccumulation and reconsolidation. We talked about this $1.15 to $1.20 price point a lot over the last several weeks. Will it come down and hit it? We'll see. In the past and here, it did come down to that price level. Will it do it again? We'll find out, but it's really just kind of an accumulation and waiting for its turn, like I talked about in yesterday's video, that this market is really rotating, and that we see when XRP takes off, that's a pretty good signal that the end of the bull run is coming whenever XRP is the one to get rotated into. It's what happened at the end of the 2017 bull run. That also happened at the end of the 2013 bull run. And at this point, with this total altcoin market cap this far up, that's kind of what I have to assume is what we're doing once again. And well, as I talked about in yesterday's video, that I won't be rotating in this market any longer. As we're getting up to these higher price levels for the total market cap, as we start marching up, hopefully we do continue up even higher. That's where I intend on starting to let go and not actually rotate back into the market. I will be pulling my first profits and putting them in my pockets after years of being in a bear market. Yesterday's video got like over 100 thumbs down. I guess I said a lot of different things that could have triggered that. I don't know if it was Doge. I don't know if it was saying that I'm not going to be rotating anymore, talking bad about SHIB, or saying that we're at late stages of the bull run. I don't know. There was a lot of things that could have triggered that, but maybe it was saying Doge going to 5 cents. I don't know. But this bull run has been really, really wild to this point. And I think anybody who's been in this market through the bear market, right? And I think about my YouTube channel, how it's really blown up in the last, 6 months. It's gone real crazy. But, this channel was around for a whole year before things started getting really wild in this market. And there's, like 30, 40,000 of us who have just kind of been through this whole bear market this whole time and are now living in this actual moment right now. And then there's a lot of new people piling in, right? People piling into the excitement. The reason why you pile in when excitement happens is you want the excitement to continue going. And so here you are, you have a YouTuber saying, hey, look, I'm getting ready to start pulling the money out of this market because I think it's coming to an end pretty soon. That's not going to be positive news. That's kind of frowned upon, right? But the thing is, things usually do get even more wild than what we're seeing right now. When we went through the 2017 bull run, the things that we're seeing happen right now where meme coins are performing really well, that is the type of stuff you see in the euphoria of an alt season. And we can all agree at this point by looking at the Bitcoin dominance that we are absolutely within an alt season. So if you want to kind of understand where my mindset is coming from and being like, hey, look, this has to end at some point, it's because, well, even if we continued at our current trajectory, the Bitcoin dominance would get to zero in a matter of like 2 months if it continued at this current rate, which it's not going to. The Bitcoin dominance will not go to zero. And so what we have to look to is, well, let's look over at these other alt seasons. How long did these alt seasons last? We know that this one right in here, this one lasted about 100 days. This one right here lasted about 30 days. So the 2 points of reference we have to go back to for alt seasons from a time perspective of how long they can last is, 30 days or 100 days. And in that time span of 100 days, it doesn't necessarily mean each altcoin surged for 100 days. You had some that lasted in the first 45 days, then they started their bear markets halfway into the alt season. You had some that didn't have their alt seasons until the very end of the alt season. But for the most part, the whole alt season lasted 100 days. You could say it started right here on March 8th, March 9th, and then it ended down here on June 18th. That's about 100 days. Then your second alt season started really around right here, right around December 13th, December 14th, and then it went all the way till, January 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, about 30 days, about a month, right? So you have one that's a little bit over 3 months and you have one that's about a month. So how deep into this one are we at this point, and when did this alt season actually begin? Do you say it started right up in here on January 1st? Or do you say kind of when it started to break down in here? For me personally, I think of it more so being right when it broke down right here. This was the whole time when I was rotating out of my Bitcoin and getting into the altcoin market, and then we saw the floodgates just open and the alt season began. So personally, it's just my opinion from my experiences. I'm saying for me, it started right there, right at the end of March, right in that last week. So if we're about halfway through May and we say that we started, let's just say March 28th, that means we're about 40 to 45 days into this alt season. We know that means that that's longer than the second alt season of 2017 that we've had, but it's also shorter than the alt season the first alt season, right? But the longest we've ever gone is 100 days. So we'll just kind of grab this fractal and see what happened with this Bitcoin dominance and how it really all ended, right? Well, you could just say we're kind of going at that rate right there, right? Where does that put us at, and where would that make it end, and how low is that bottom? That puts you at about 21%, and it puts you there in about 45 more days from right now. Gets us at about a similar time frame. If we look at the time perspective, hey, look, man, we're right on track, right? Things are actually looking pretty good. But what that does tell you, even if we continued at that current trajectory, that's saying that one right there is saying June. We're in May. For the people who've been in the bear market and been around for years, we're not talking much time. And it might not even go that low. It might go lower. Don't know. But what we could say from a time perspective, if it continued at the trajectory that it's going at right now, that there would only be approximately 30 more days left in this alt season and left in this bull run if it went at that rate. So if you kind of understand why I'm a little on edge, well, do the math. Been in here for years, and we're looking at like 30 days. So what happened at the end of these previous, alt seasons that we had back in 2017? When this one ended, Bitcoin actually continued going higher. So like what we're seeing right now, Bitcoin has paused for this long time period, right? In this circumstance, all the altcoins went down and lost a lot during this time period, but Bitcoin actually went up. And then in this one right here, Bitcoin was hitting its very top, and this was the end of the entire cryptocurrency bull run. So I don't know if we're going to have something similar to that happen right now. I can't expect that. So for me, it's not a game of, hey, I'm going to sell all my altcoins and go into Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin's going to blast much higher. I don't know that to be true. And from all the analysis that I've done, my expectations have always been that this is the price area where Bitcoin, struggles to go any higher. But I think it's important for me and my YouTube channel, run it the way I want to run it, that, hey, I don't want it to be that we get to like the last day or something of something like this, and I'm like, that's it, guys, I'm done, I'm out. I want it to be that, I'm like walking it through, showing my thought process. Where am I at? What do I think's going on in this market? That's kind of how I've always done this YouTube channel. And this is the kind of the stuff that's going through my head right here, that, hey, you know what? Look at that trajectory we're going at. We're going at the exact same trajectory as we were back in 2017. And when things got near the end, it gets really, really, really crazy. But what also happens at the end is no one wants to believe it's the end. I remember the end of the 2017 bull run, and I always talk about these 702 Fibonacci retracements, right? We saw that all over the market. You saw it happen with Bitcoin. You saw, retracements with Ethereum before the crash really started to set in for the end of the bull market. And that phase right back in here for Bitcoin, when a bubble pops, that's called a return to normal phase. It's a point where there's this really big dip in the market, And the market participants believe that that dip that took place was a buy the dip opportunity. This went down in here and into the retrace rather than letting go of it. They want to keep holding, right? They say, no, that was just a buy the dip opportunity. And my wife specifically told me, hey, how about you not talk about Doge in today's video? Here I am. But I think, what we're seeing is something similar to that happening over here in Doge, right? If you followed this is actually exactly what the bull run for XRP looked like back in 2017. And what happened with XRP is that it actually fell all the way back down to this price level, and it took years to get there. And right now, there's still that real excitement for Doge, right? Buy the dip, hold the line, diamond hands. And I don't think that opportunity is going to be taken to get out of Doge. And so that's showing me that we have a large amount of euphoria in the market. And it's hard for the new people who come into here to really understand what it was like being in this market just 6 months ago, just 8 months ago. That the sentiment that you're seeing right now is incredibly different from what it was like a while ago. But a while ago, we were always talking about this type of sentiment happening. That when prices were suppressed and we had a bad dip or something like that, it was normal. My videos would get more thumbs down. I'm saying, look, I'm going to buy. I'm grabbing it. No, blockchain partner, it's not going to go up. You're crazy. I'm going to buy lower. Thumbs down. And I would always say, when prices get really high and I start talking about, hey, I'm going to be making exits soon, that my videos would be getting thumbs down and that people wouldn't want it. We'd have the same sentiment, but it'd be the opposite side. And so while it's fun and while I think it's going to go up, probably going to go up higher, I'm just trying to lay down the groundwork that this doesn't last forever. And if we continue at the same trajectory that we're going at right now, we could see that alt season would be over by June 21st. That's if it does the same thing. We don't know if it's going to do the same thing or not. But the biggest alt season that we've ever seen in cryptocurrency is this one right here, the one that I have overlaid on the chart right now. And if we're going to mirror the biggest alt season that we've seen in cryptocurrency, that's how much time is left. And it's just food for thought. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I never recommend that you buy any particular assets. I never recommend that you sell any particular assets. I just tell you what I'm doing. And even then, I'm not a financial advisor or an investment advisor. I'm a YouTuber. But I think this is incredible data for us to all look at to see from a time perspective how much is remaining here if it continued the previous alt season, and how much is remaining in the altcoin market cap if it were to continue to reach out to a full Fibonacci extension. The thing that happened at the bottom of this market, especially when things were really scary, like when the C19 moment happened right in here, this was our capitulation moment. We saw things like Bitcoin dip down to $4,000. We saw XRP dip down to 11 cents, and it really scared the market. And a lot of people got shooken out of the market at that time. They sold into it because it was so scary and the narrative was so bad and the prices were dropping so fast. But then what happened was that market really bounced out of there. It bounced back up. And during that time, a lot of people were arguing, saying that the prices were going to go lower. And it was because of sentiment had gotten so far swung one way and that people had gotten shooken out of their positions, they now wanted prices to actually go lower because they were not sitting in a long position in the market anymore. They were either short the market or out of the market. You have to think about that happening in the opposite way when we get really high. And if you're new to this and you're thinking, my gosh, this bear guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I was a bull through all of it. All of it. Bull, 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 bull. All-time highs, bull. We're now getting pretty high. We haven't seen everything rotate, which is fortunate because that tells me there's still opportunities out there in the market. And when this market topped up in here, we'll go back and zoom in on this. We can see the dates on this. You can see that the top of this came in here, and then it really just kind of battled up in here for 10 days. This top of the altcoin market came in on January 5th, and then it really just kind of played around in here all the way till January 15th, and then really started to break down. But this was a huge rotation moment. That was the real chaos of alt season, when everything was just rotating like crazy. You had people still screaming for hoping for higher prices for the things they got stuck in earlier in the alt season that had already started their bear markets. But you watch things take off like Tron and Verge and Redcoin. All these crazy things just go on these moon missions like madness in these final stages. And of course, that's when XRP went on its massive blast off. So fortunately, we don't have anything like that happening in this market yet. But what we do know is that the prices are getting real high up here, and that Bitcoin dominance is just chugging along. And here, we'll zoom in a little bit closer. And even looking at this, right, it says there's a lot to go, right? That's what this says if it did the same thing, right? But the thing is, we're moving real quick, right? And time's picking up, and I'll shift this over here. You can see the trajectory of this is picking up speed. And as things pick up speed, that means excitement gets picked up too. And the fact that we're already seeing meme coins of meme coins mooning means it'll get so chaotic and so complicated and so wild that it'll just be hard to make decisions, I think. But in the end, my goal and my vision of this channel and for me being successful in this market was to have a plan a long time ahead, right? And to say, where did I think the prices were going? What are the things I'm looking for to happen in the market from my experiences of being in the 2017 bull market? And we're without question seeing a lot of the similar behaviors right now of what we saw in the 2017 bull market. Ungodly amounts of shilling of different coins. I think the newest one I saw, and we're getting every different kind of animal you can imagine being shilled for the sake of the fact that the name of the coin is an animal. That's what happens in euphoric markets. And all I'm doing is reining in the sentiment a little bit. Know where you are, know where this market is. And for all the people who have been around for super long, right, going through that whole bear market, this chart shows it to you. There's not much time left, which is great because at the end of the bull market, all those laggards end up taking off, is what we've seen in each other bull market. I know a lot of people are hurting and stuff that they're sitting in that's still down there while they're watching all these dog coins go to the moon. But it's also in these moments where people change their plans. This is where people say, I've had enough. They capitulate on whatever they are doing and change things up suddenly. And to each their own. Everybody can do that. But I'm not going to change the things that I'm doing. I'm not going to change my plan. I'm not going to change my strategy. I'm going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing because we're seeing things behave the way they've always behaved. Markets get euphoric, irrational. People start chasing everything. We talked about that for forever, that there would be tons and tons of chasing. But as for me, I stick to my plan, hold on for dear life. And as we get to the places we get to, I'll be letting go. And, I'm not telling you to let go. You can let go if you want to, but I am. I'm going to. As for XRP being at $1.40 or whatever, well, it's still got a ways to go for me to do something like that. And a lot of these assets still have it, right? Like I mentioned, EOS, Dash, Zcash, Ethereum Classic, and Bitcoin Cash. I don't know if I'm missing one. I missed Dash yesterday. I got commented on that and somebody said, what about Dash? But it's the exciting moment. But in the excitement, I also have to keep that realistic view, that realistic approach of knowing where I am, knowing that the Bitcoin dominance will not fall to zero. It is going to stop at some point. The altcoin market cap will stop at some point, and the sentiment of the market will change. But until then, I'll just continue to enjoy the ride in the assets that are still lagging behind. But otherwise, looking at that Bitcoin dominance and knowing what the market was like during these moments of when things really start cranking down there, it shows that even more excitement is to come and more madness and craziness is to come if we continue to go at that same rate. So what an exciting time in crypto. And man, I always wondered, going through the 2017 bull run, you wonder, what is my sentiment going to be like when I get to the next bull run, right? And here I am. I always wondered, would I be excited, euphoric, crazy, wild, or would I keep my composure through it all? And it turns out I'm just keeping my composure. So it's been a pretty good ride so far, trying to keep that realistic approach. And I think that's just what I'm going to keep doing throughout the remainder of this thing. So it's not going to be so much hype and crazy and wildness. I mean, maybe when XRP takes off, I don't know. We'll see. But either way, guys, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're having a good day. I'm going to wrap this thing up. If you guys would like, of course, you could check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs and the different altcoin market cycles or the alt seasons, tying them together to show where they've occurred. I talk about a lot of different tools and indicators and how to set up your own charts. I talk about my different exit plans. I talk about percentages, mathematics, rotating, all kinds of good stuff in here. I did put some updates in there within the last week. Let's see, I have one there on April 30th, and I did update, of course, the Ethereum part 3 in there. But you guys can check this out over here on bcbacker.com. You could follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please like this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.